What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we got Gervonta Tank Davis and his mystery opponent, right? Over the last 24 hours, Gervonta, his name has been circulating because his trainer, Calvin Ford, he was interviewed and he hinted that Tank Davis is in the works of sealing the deal with a potential opponent. And when that news breaks, he said it's going to be big, right? He said, right now, something big is coming. He said, I can tell you that. So fans are wondering now, who is this mysterious opponent that Tank could possibly be facing? So we're getting names like Keith Thurman, right? I've seen articles saying Gervonta Tank Davis versus Keith Thurman is taking place next at a catchweight of 145. To me, that's probably one of the least opponents that I would speculate for him to face, right? For one, if Calvin Ford said this is going to be big, this is going to be massive, I don't think fighting Keith Thurman right now would be big or massive for Gervonta Tank Davis because Keith Thurman just hasn't been active. Now, if he was active and currently fighting and he had just beat a Terrence Crawford or a Earl Spence, and then they did a catchweight at 145, yeah, that would be a massive fight. But Keith Thurman has been on the bench for like 2 years. So with that inactivity, his stock has dropped. So I just don't see that fight happening. I mean, it would be a good fight, but I don't think it'd be a big fight. Also, if you look at, this is another clue. Let's listen what Ellerby has to say. Here's another clue.
Anytime that you have a Mexican fighter versus a black fighter, you bring those two fan bases together, it's a big event.
So he says anytime, the reason why I want to listen to Ellerby is because Ellerby is with Mayweather Promotions. And although Tank is his own man, he's his own boss, he still does business with Al Heyman and Mayweather Promotions. Whether you want to agree with that or not, they still play a role in matchmaking his fights. So if you listen to what he's saying that anytime you put a black fighter against a Mexican fighter, you get a big event. Those two fan bases come together, you get a big pay-per-view event. So if you look at Tank's last few fights, his opponents have had some type of Hispanic or Latino background, right? He had Ryan Garcia, Hector Garcia, Rolando Romero, Isaac Cruz, Mario Barrios, Leo Santa Cruz. Now, Rolly Romero, I think he's a Cuban background, but I think his dad is part Latino. But I could be wrong about that. But his last 6 fights have had some kind of Hispanic Latino background. So if I'm narrowing it down, I'm using this as a clue, and I'm using what he said as a clue, then I would assume that more than likely Davis is probably going to fight a Hispanic, right? So that brings me to Teofimo Lopez, right? He's also a Latino background heritage. He just came off a impressive win against Josh Taylor, where many people thought Josh Taylor was going to beat Teofimo Lopez, but Teofimo Lopez got the victory. Then, strangely, he announced his retirement after the fight because he felt like he's not being compensated. He said, I'm doing all this work, I'm taking these big fights, and I'm not being paid for them. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? He's just going to quit. So he's so, quote-unquote, retired because the fights wasn't lucrative. So if he was to land a Gervonta Tank Davis fight, Davis would have to come up to 140, and they could fight for the WBO belt that he just got from Josh Taylor. That would be a lucrative fight for Teofimo Lopez. So I would lean towards Lopez more than Keith Thurman at this point, but we still just have to wait and find out who it's going to be because it could be neither opponent. It could be some guy that we're not even thinking of. It's not even on our radar right now. But that's what I have with it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm out.